Hi guys, Kenny here. We're back. It is Saturday. We got a lot going on here today. Anyway, we've got an older super recycler, Toro, with the aluminum deck. Real nice mower. And it wasn't starting. The guy put fresh fuel in it, hadn't started in a while, says it wasn't starting. And I changed the plug and everything, and I squirted some fuel in the combustion chamber and it popped, all right? But it didn't seem to be getting anything through the carburetor. So I squirted some fuel into the carburetor and it wasn't even really popping. So I took it apart, and it looks like it's gonna rain out, so I'm gonna be quick with this. I took it apart. Let me show you what I found. When I took the carburetor apart in the shop here, kind of filthy in the shop, but anyway, when I took the carburetor apart, the float was like this, all right? Meaning something was going on with the seat. It was holding it up. So I took the float out and I pushed down the seat a little bit, and it went to about there. It's still way too high. I mean, it's supposed to be like that. By being up like this, it would just allow enough fuel in there, maybe to put an 1/8 of an inch in the float bowl, or maybe a 1/4 inch of fuel, not enough to suck it up through the emulsion tube. So that's why it wouldn't start. So I'm going to take this thing out of here. I'll show you the swelled seat, and we'll put another needle and seat kit in there. So let me get my needle and seat kit, and we'll take that one out and we'll show you. Be back in a second. All right, we're in the shop. Let me take out this float. Needle, let's take out that seat. I use a crochet hook. It usually works good getting these floats. There's the float. All right, so I'm going to try and compare the old float to a new float. Let's see. The Briggs float number 398188. I don't have any Briggs floats in stock, but I do have some Chinesiums, so I'm going to use the Chinesium. But I want to show you the difference between a non-swollen one and a swollen one. So I'm going to try and put them side by side. Let me get the camera. I'm going to take this off. Give me a second. All right, the one on the left is the swollen one. I don't know if you could see it. Yeah, see how small the hole is in the center? When it swells up, it pushes that hole even smaller, and that smaller hole right there causes the needle to push up. See how big the hole is on the right? That's the new one. So as it swells, it gets thicker, but it also closes up that hole. And by closing up that hole with the needle, where is it? Oop. With the needle being on a taper, it'll push up on that needle and tilt that float so it's on an angle. So let me put this new float into the carburetor, and we'll stick that in. I put a little bit of oil on it, stick it in there, push it down with a drill bit. I'll slap this back together real quick, and then we'll put it back onto the Toro recycler and see what we got. Be right back. All right, hopefully I got you all in focus here. Let me get a little bit of Earl, put some Earl on that new needle. And you can't use the Tecumseh tool, because the Tecumseh tool is a little bit big on the hole size, and it'll give you a problem. So sometimes I'll just use the actual float pin, all right? And like all these seats, the end with the annular grooves, that goes on the inside. So I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on the outside of this thing. I'm gonna stick it down the hole. I'm gonna use the crochet hook to push it in. Make sure I got it in right. I'm gonna have to get glasses. There we go, I got my glasses here, I got my specs. Let me see if it's in the hole. Gotta turn on my work light here, hold on. Let's see if I got it in the hole. These are a little finicky. Yeah, see, it's not in the hole. Oh. You know what? I'm going to shut off the camera. I'm going to push this in. No sense wasting your time. I'll be back in a minute. Let me push this all the way down. All right, we're back. The best way to do it is with a drill bit. Take a drill bit, put a little bit of oil around it, push it down, make sure the grooves are down. Push it down and you should be good to go. Now let me just see where the float ends up with that new seat in there. Should be close to horizontal. Let's see what we got with the pin in there. Yeah. Yep. We got a. It's almost perfectly horizontal. It's only maybe 30-40 thousandths above horizontal. That's where you want it. All right. So that's good. All right. So now let's put the bowl gasket on it. All right, we'll put the bowl on it. The bowl nut and washer. Oh, gotta have the washer. All right. And now, yep, it's working good. Let's take it outside, put it back on the unit, and see if she starts up. And if she does, I can call the customer and get paid. All right, let's go outside. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I'm gonna take the carby. We're gonna take a 1/2 inch ratchet. We're gonna tighten up that bowl nut. Okay, now we're ready to go back on. Hope you could see it. All right. You have to put the linkage on. The linkage goes on into the red bushing. Once you got the linkage on, it pushes onto that O-ring. Then you got 3/8 bolts. So what I like to do with the 3/8 bolts is put them onto a nut driver and start them. 3/8 nut driver. Start them. And I finish them up. Impact set on low. Okay. Then we hook our fuel back up. Let's get our fuel tank back up here. Hook up our fuel line. Unclamp it, and let's make sure that doesn't leak. Put the clamp back on. Okay. Hopefully it won't leak. We'll wait a second. All right. We've got the fuel tank. Has to go back on, and I think it's a 1/2 inch bolt down here. Let's see. The bolt down here was actually loose. I think that's 3/8 too. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's 3/8 too. Okay. All right, fuel tank. Let's put the fuel tank back on. You got a 3/8 bolt at the bottom, and then you have, these are all 5/16, 3 of them up top. Let's get the 5/16. 5/16 bit. One. Two. Three. Okay, fuel tank is secured. Now we have to get the air cleaner on. I put a new gasket. Since this is a primer type system, I put a new gasket on the back of the air filter housing so it would prime properly. Okay. So push in the hose line up, and we send the carburetor home. Three screws hold the carburetor assembly in. Not too tight. Okay. All right, the air filter on this was pretty good, so I'm just going to put it back on. That's also 5/16. Okay. Now we can put on this housing. Just snaps on. It's got Phillips screws here. I'll get those in a minute. But right now, everything's good. Fuel is good. Everything is good. New plug is in. Let's prime it. And let's see if she starts. She starts and runs good. The personal pace works good. We're done. So basically just that needle and seat is all it was. I generally like to use the Briggs needle and seat, but like I said, didn't have any Briggs. It was a Saturday afternoon about a few months ago and no one was open. So I ordered them from Amazon and got on the next day a 10-pack for about 20 bucks. I've been using them. They've been working pretty good. So if you're trying to start a Quantum and it's not starting, because remember, these Quantums start every time. They always do. Check for fuel delivery. Make sure you're getting fuel. If the customer said he tried fuel cleaners, stabilizers, anything in the tank, that's your clue. Check that seat. A lot of these carb cleaners and stabilizers will swell that rubber seat, make it so that the float hangs too low. It will not allow enough fuel in to run. So that's the tip, guys. Check that rubber seat, make sure you're good. All right, you got any questions, comments, suggestions? Let me know, guys. Subscribe, like, and we will see you on the next one. We'll talk to you soon.